everyone, and welcome to the 30-Day Summit, where Russell Brunson has brought together a collection of his top 2 Comma Club and 8-figure award winners to share with you how they would literally survive and begin to rebuild their business in just 30 days if they lost it all. My name is Bailey Richard, and right now I'm delighted to be speaking with Dean Holland. With a passion for helping others in his own unique ways, Dean loves nothing more than teaching and training entrepreneurs on his ultimate funnel strategy and methods. He's shared the stage with Russell Brunson and Tony Robbins, and given a TEDx talk on the subject of marketing. He's to date helped almost 800 people start and grow their business online. He is the CEO of Internet Profits and is here to serve in any way he can. So, Dean, welcome to the summit.
Thank you so much, Bailey. Great to be here. I'm excited for it.
I'm excited as well. So let's dive into your 30-day plan, talking about first week 1, where you say your primary objective after reviewing your financials and setting your goals is to take an evaluation of all the different types of products and services you could offer and then choose one. And to do this, you suggest turning to Facebook groups. So I was wondering if you could share with us what your process and overall strategy is here.
Yeah, sure. So one of the things that I would have possibly looked at if I had a bigger budget, for example, was maybe creating like a survey or a quiz and advertising that. But taking this from the approach where that's not a case, limited resources and funds, instead I had to think through, and I would go through a process of where are people congregating that are interested or are my target market? Where are those people kind of hanging out? If we were in the street, I would go to like a fan club or something where I could go and meet people. But online, like people have already built these communities. So for me, for example, if I were to be helping people that want to create their own products or funnels, I would find the groups where those people have joined, the communities where those people are hanging out, and I would put myself in front of them. So the approach that I've taken there is to go where these communities of people are. And there are groups. I mean, take the ClickFunnels group, for example. There are way over, I don't even know the latest number, there's way over 100,000 people in there. Like, I couldn't find 100,000 people if I wanted to running around in the streets, but they're all there in one place. So my approach there is to take the question that I need the answer to, go inside of these groups where all these like-minded targeted people are congregating, and put my question to them and get some feedback. And I think one of the most impressive things to me with like that approach in the communities is that you can literally have the information you need to know within like an hour, often within minutes. And so that was my approach there, is I need to know the answer to this before I move forwards. I need to gather this information. Let me go where those people are that can give me that information and put my question in front of them.
Well, you also mentioned something interesting in your 30-day plan about this, in that you would offer one free product giveaway to someone who comments on these posts. So could you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, definitely. So no offense to people, but a lot of people inherently are like lazy or don't necessarily want to be forthcoming in getting involved in discussions. So there are tons of people that would just naturally want to help out, right? But my approach is I want the answers fast. I want to go there. I don't want to lose any time. We got like a 30-day window to make something happen. And so I wanted to incentivize people and give that fun element to actually getting involved in answering and giving me the feedback to my posts. So I thought, rather than just saying, please help me with this question, give me your responses, I thought, well, it's not going to cost me anything to give access to this thing anyway, other than having one more person to deliver the training or products to when I created it. So why not add an incentive? Now all of a sudden people have got a reason to take a couple of minutes out their time, because everybody's time is precious, right? So rather than just hope for the best, I wanted to just add that little bit more incentive into my post and say, look, I'm going to give you whatever feedback I get here. I'm going to go and create something. And I'm going to give you free access. I'm just going to review everybody that answers, pick one at random, and somebody is going to win this big prize. So just adding more incentive, a bit more fun to get more people involved and get more feedback and data as quickly as I can.
Fantastic. So after getting back this information from these surveys and posts in these groups, you say that you're going to decide on what you will create. And in your 30-day plan, you focus in on a high-ticket offer priced at $9.97 and then decide that the best way to sell it is a webinar. So my first question for you is, why a webinar? And then I was wondering if you could share with us specifically what's going on from days 8 to 13 in your plan when you are creating this webinar.
Yeah, no, good stuff. So the reasoning for the webinar really is I think, there's a lot of different ways to sell different products. You could have just a video sales letter, you could have a written sales copy. But my experience has always been once you cross a certain price point, you're going to have to do a bit more. And for me, like a webinar is the perfect platform to sell something at that kind of price. I think for me, anything above sort of $297, I would start to look at a webinar presentation, because that's where I've got a larger time period where I can capture people's attention. They've registered, they've joined a presentation, they're there in that moment. Now I can spend a longer period of time to deliver the goods, deliver the training that justifies why my offer is something that they should have, and to be able to present that to them. With a webinar, I can spend anywhere between 1 to 2 hours and have that person's attention. Any other format that I could choose to make an offer to, I've literally got seconds before they're probably busy and they're clicking away on other websites. So for me, a webinar is a way that I can deliver maximum value, have their attention for a longer period of time, which allows me to justify and explain why my offer is something they need, why that is, and how to get it.
Definitely. Well, let's keep moving on in your 30-day plan. On day 16, you talk about an interesting strategy for getting people on your webinar. Since you don't have a Facebook advertising budget, you instead decide to approach affiliate partners, but specifically ones you say that have already recently launched one of their own products. So could you explain for us why this distinction is so important and how this plays into your overall strategy?
Yeah, so one of the things I look at, again, it's kind of similar to why I would go and post that question in the Facebook group, is where are my ideal customers? Where is my target market? Now, if somebody has just done a product launch, or they're planning to, say in the next 30 days, there are places that any of us can go where you can actually see like a calendar of people's product launches that are coming up. So my thinking behind this is, I would be able to look and see what products are being launched in the marketplace over the next, say, 30 to 60 days. And I could review those products and see pretty simply, which products are likely to appeal to the same type of customers that my offer would also appeal to. Okay, so I could make a list of those, and I would know then that if that person sells that product and launches that product and, say, makes 1,000 sales in their launch week, they have 1,000 ideal customers for my product as well. And so for me, that approach was really about finding the maximum amount of ideal customers I could as fast as I could in a short window of time. And so if I were able to find, for example, 10 products that were launching in the next 30 days that would appeal also to the same type of customers I would need, and if those launches were to get, say, 1,000 customers each, just for example, that is now 10,000 customers that I could potentially get my offer in front of. And so that's where that thinking and approach was. It's enabling me to find ideal customers in a very short period of time and be able to hopefully get my offer in front of them.
And to incentivize those affiliate partners to say yes, you're offering a pretty high affiliate commission, 50% you mentioned in the plan.
Definitely, yes, because I think a lot of people, how a lot of people operate their business and why a lot of people launch products is to be able to build those email lists of customers. And once they've got those customers, they're obviously looking to continue to serve them whilst at the same time making their business as profitable as possible. So my approach with that, if my offer is $1,000, then that's a $500 commission that I could offer these people. And, that could potentially mean thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars in commissions for recommending this to their customers. So I wanted to give as big a incentive as possible to, I think one of the things that a lot of us struggle with sometimes is getting people to agree to promote our offer or promote our webinar. So my approach is always, what's the biggest incentive I can give people? I could even consider if I really needed to raise that cash as fast as possible, I could pay more than a 50% commission if it really meant the difference between getting somebody to promote and not getting them to promote. I'd rather, if I could get somebody to promote and it required 75%, then I may still consider that, because if I needed to make that money, I would still be getting a $250 commission for each sale, and that would allow me long term to then reinvest that money to further grow my business. So the approach really is what's the maximum biggest way I can incentivize that affiliate partner to promote my offer so I can make those sales.
Sure. Now, aside from that 50% commission, you also mentioned in your plan how you would go through the effort of actually creating customized and personalized JV pages and videos when approaching each one of these affiliates. So could you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, definitely. So people are constantly getting bombarded with offers to promote their products, right? I wouldn't be the only person going to these people saying, I've got a great offer, can you promote it? And here's the incentives. So they're getting these types of offers on a regular basis. And again, going back to kind of what I said, again, I don't want this to be misinterpreted, but a lot of people are a bit lazy with certain aspects of their business. And I know, because it's happened to me, people might send people just their generic JV page, or their affiliate registration page to people. They might just send a mass broadcast, or they just contact everyone and they copy and paste, could you promote this offer, or, take a look at my page. And it might just be their general generic page. The way I always think about things is like in a busy marketplace, in a busy email inbox or Facebook Messenger inbox, when I'm going to contact people, how do I stand out? Now, if I had the option, if I looked at myself and I thought, well, if somebody sent me a link that just said linkhere.com or whatever, it was just a generic link, then there's no real like something that's catching my attention. But if that said linkhere.com/Dean Holland, and I'd think, oh, what's this? That's me. That's personal. So I'd click on it and it'd be more likely to get my attention. So that's my approach with that is, can I go that extra mile to create something personalized so they can see that I've put that effort in? And I also think, if you go beyond there and you think the psychological effect, there's a slight element of reciprocity there where it's like, I've taken time to create that video for them. I've been very personal. I've not just sent a generic video. I've had the camera and I've said their name and I'm speaking directly to them. I've then created their own page for them, their own name in the URL, and I've sent it out to them. Now, not only is that more likely to get their attention, but they can see I've gone above and beyond. And I think the longer term view here, obviously the process of the 30-day plan was to try and get results as quickly as possible, and how would we get going now? But even if that person can't promote for me, I've also got to start thinking long term as well. And that person's going to remember that I went to that extra effort. And so, maybe next time, if they couldn't do it this time, maybe if 6 months down the line, if I were to communicate with them again, they might be able to at that point. And so I wanted to A, try and get their attention now, but B, also be thinking, how can I make a good first impression with that person for the long-term relationship that I could create with them?
Absolutely. I love how you're bringing up this long-term relationship. As somebody who myself gets invited via email every day to be on somebody's podcast or participate in their summit, especially whenever there is some sort of affiliate promotional requirement that's going to be expected of me, and I have to turn that down, and then I never hear from that person again, there's something really sour that's left there, knowing that they were only interested in it for the short-term gain that they were going to get by leveraging my platform rather than trying to build that long-term relationship with me.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. And that's how I always think. I think this with customers and joint venture partners, with anybody. What can I do that others aren't bothering with? What extra step can I go to that's going to keep me in the mind of that person? And it's really about, like you say, even if somebody's declined, like I might even be inclined, if they've replied and said, thank you so much for the video, but unfortunately I just can't do it. I've got other commitments or whatever that is. I might even be inclined, to be honest, to just grab my phone, shoot them a quick message again and say, hey, thanks, Bob. I really appreciate that you even took a look at it. No problem at all that it's not a good time for you this time. But please do keep in touch. And if there's anything I can add value to you with, let me know. And likewise, I'd love to keep this line of communication open for future. And just taking that minute out, like you say, that long-term value. I know even, Russell spoke about this. A joint venture partner might not be able to promote for you today. They might not be able to promote next month or next year. But the day that person can, I've had in my business in the past, like one person can make you over $1 million and many millions of dollars. So is it worth keeping that relationship going and thinking long term, even beyond this 30-day plan? Of course. So that I guess would be my biggest thing in this area is always do think. You've got to have the short-term planning goals, but don't forget the long-term relationships. They can be worth an absolute fortune.
Absolutely. Well, believe it or not, in your 30-day plan, we are already bringing ourselves up to week number 4, and there's still a lot that's happening. So what is going on during this final week of your plan?
Okay, so in week 4, I'm at the stage where I've started going out there, I've started communicating with people. now I need to actually get everything ready. So like the actual funnel, the setup of everything, the emails, and all the actual assets. I think, you know, I did this deliberately in my plan, is to not. I think a lot of people, when they start out doing something, this is why I wanted this to be really clear in my plan. I think sometimes a lot of people have like a list of things they know they need to do, but they perhaps do it in the wrong order. And I think, and I've made this mistake in the past, is the first thing I would do would build the website, and then build the funnel maybe, and then the pages. And then I could have taken, for example, the first week or two to set up my pages and write the emails. But then I'm 2 weeks in and nobody even knows about anything. I don't have an offer. Nobody knows about it. There's no potential of getting traffic or people to see my offer. So I deliberately did things in a reverse way. I focused on more, what's the offer going to be? How am I going to get people to see it? How am I going to sell this offer? And then worry about all those kind of technical other little bits afterwards. So that was kind of like my final stages of my plan there. And then even starting to think, if I recall rightly, and towards the end of my plan, even starting to think beyond that 30 days, what was going to happen after that. So, you know, for me, the final stages is that setup of the funnel, the pages, because I've already now got people in place to be able to promote this, hopefully by that stage.
Sure. And I think what you're really doing here also is really forcing yourself to get it done in a particular time constraint, because we're all funnel hackers. We know that we could spend forever trying to perfect our funnel and preventing us from really getting it out there. But whenever you are following this plan and you've only got a certain amount of time before it has to get done, before that webinar happens, you are going to force yourself to make it work.
Definitely, yeah, because I think we can all sometimes fall into a trap of being a perfectionist, and we say, oh, should my logo go there or there? Which way does it look best? And then you never end up getting anywhere because you're messing around with everything. And, you know, so I always do it the other way. I like to force myself into a position where the most important things have to be done fast, because, you know, for me, the offer and the traffic is the most important things. Without any of that, it doesn't matter how good the website looks. So that was kind of the last bit for me.
Absolutely. Do you have any words of wisdom to share with us regarding hosting those JV webinars, or perhaps even the follow-up afterwards that might even extend beyond your 30-day plan?
In a JV sense, if I'd done a webinar with somebody, again, this is all my long-term thinking behind this. I would want to nurture that relationship further. So I would always have a process of communicating with that JV partner beyond the actual webinar taking place. So for example, I would be very specific about letting them know the results of the webinar, you know, not just assume, oh, they're going to log in and know how much commissions they made or how many sales were made. I would reach out to them and say, I just wanted to let you know the numbers. You actually sent this many people to register for the webinar. From this, we had this many people turn up, and etc. And we'd go through the numbers, you know, how many people they sent, how many registrations, how many sales were generated, what their commissions were. Really let them see the numbers, because I want them to know that doing business with me and my business was a profitable and successful venture for them. Again, keeping that door open for future promotions that could be done together. I'd also want to let them know as well that, you know, their customers were being looked after. Again, I think, you know, a lot of people forget certain elements. You know, if I've promoted for somebody, I want to know that my customers are being taken care of, and it was a good decision for me to do business with them and recommend their product. So I'd inform them on the numbers and the stats. Everybody loves to see that. But I'd also let them know kind of, you know, your customers here are really, really well looked after. They've got this support from us, and, you know, everything's good there. And again, I'd also just let the JV partner know that the door is open to future business, whether there's anything we can do for them, or whether, you know, I'd love to reach out to them when we've got something else in future, or potentially even doing the same webinar a few months down the line, because it was clearly a profitable thing for them. So I would definitely nurture that relationship further for the long-term potential with that joint venture partner. Now, in terms of with the customers as well, feeding in with what I just said about the joint venture partner, absolutely, you would look after those customers like they were absolute gold, as you should with every customer. But that is actually going to get back to the joint venture partner. You know, if a lot of people, when they've got their customer list and they're recommending a product to them, if they've got a good relationship, a lot of customers will actually communicate back with that person. You know, they would say, thank you very much for telling me about that webinar. I actually purchased Dean's product and it's been an amazing decision. You know, so look after the customers is a big, big deal. Make sure you're looking after them. Make sure you deliver And for the people that didn't buy as well, just because people didn't buy, they registered for that webinar for a reason, even if that offer wasn't right for them. Typically somebody wouldn't buy a product either because they couldn't financially afford it, perhaps. Maybe the timing just wasn't right for them. Or maybe, just maybe they didn't quite have the trust in you yet to make that decision. So that doesn't mean that that's not going to be right for them in future. So again, I would continually follow up with the people that didn't buy as well. They registered, you've got them on your list still. Now let's follow up with them continually as well. Nurture them, get them to know you, like you, trust you over a period of time. And just know that that door can probably be kept open to further, have additional customers from those people that weren't ready to buy for whatever reason at that time. So yeah, I'd be following up with everybody in all areas.
Fantastic advice. I love it, Dean. We're actually already reaching the end of our time for this interview, but I definitely cannot finish without asking you if there's any final words or thoughts that you'd like to share with our listening audience about your 30-day plan and this overall strategy.
Okay, great. Yeah, no, thank you. So I think the biggest thing that I would always say, and I think I actually loved going through this process, I feel so grateful that I got to do it, more so for a selfish reason, to be honest. I loved sharing this with everybody else, but it was such an interesting process to actually say, and I think we pulled some of this out during the talk, is like, what order would I do things in? Because if I didn't have the 30-day window, I can almost guarantee that I probably would have just gone through the notions of doing things. And I can probably say with certainty, I would have messed up the order. I would have perhaps thought, well, let me design the page. Like I said earlier, let me build the funnel, because that's fun. Building the funnel, messing around inside of ClickFunnels, that's great. That's really fun. But it's not necessarily the right way that's going to deliver the results in the fastest time. So I think if people are to take anything from this process and going through the chapter and going through the interview is, realize that fast, immediate action is really the essential thing. Having a plan is great. You've got to have a plan, but the implementation of that plan and the speed of implementation is the thing that's going to beat anything. And you could make a million mistakes by moving fast, but I guarantee that you'll be much further ahead than somebody that takes the time to sit down and spend 30 days just developing a plan. Take fast action, move forwards fast. And a mentor always used to say to me, somebody said, fail forwards fast. And that's always stuck with me, because I used to be afraid to fail. I used to be scared to make a mistake, so much so that I wouldn't do anything. I'd kind of just sit there in this warm little bubble of not doing anything, because if I did something, I might make a mistake, and that was scary. But above all, the failures are actually fun nowadays, because I learn more by failing than I do by succeeding. And so I just want to encourage everybody to take massive action, implement fast, enjoy the failures along the way, because what the failures actually are results. They might not have been the results you were looking for, but the results you can learn from. So that's hopefully something that everyone can take away.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Dean, for being a part of the summit and for sharing all of the incredible value that you have on this interview. For those of you watching at home, I've got a question for you before you go. Are you ready to embark on your own 30-day journey to success? Well, if that's the case, then you need to join the One Funnel Away Challenge. Click the button on this page to learn more. You're going to be creating, with the help of a 2 Comma Club coach, your own customized and personalized 30-day journey to success and getting that next award-winning funnel launched. Plus, when you upgrade, you're also going to be snagging some absolutely incredible bonuses, including a copy of the 30-Day Summit book, a physical book where we've put together all of the 30-day plans from all of the 32 Comma Club winners on this event, plus unlimited access to the interview that you just watched with Dean, and of course, all of the other Summit speakers on this event, and my favorite part of the package, a second interview that I have recorded with every single Summit speaker on the 30-Day Summit, where they're taking me behind the scenes and actually showing me via screen share how it is that they have set up their award-winning funnels. The value is absolutely out of this world and something that you do not want to miss. And that's why I want to make sure that you click the button on this page and upgrade to the One Funnel Away Challenge. Dean, one more time, thank you so much for being a part of the summit. We really do appreciate it.
Thank you so much.